Yo guys, in this video we are gonna go over the 10 most important things that have changed in the big March update in Phasmophobia. For each change I'm also gonna give you some practical tips on how you can stay on top of the game. If you want to read about all other minor changes, I'm gonna leave a link in the description down below. Let's start with number 1. The ghost will now follow you around corners if it has lost line of sight of you rather than searching a random location. In the previous build of the game, the ghost picked a random location to wander to once you broke line of sight with it. This actually made it super easy to escape the ghosts. Now the ghost is going to the last seen location of the player and is very likely to go around the corner. It can happen though that the ghost is not able to track you around corners. One way how you can increase the chance of them not being able to track you around corners is to cut the corners as close as possible. The steeper the angle the better, and always hug the wall afterwards. Number 2. The ghost will now target any player that gets close to it whilst it's already chasing another player. This means other players cannot really touch the ghost anymore while it's targeting another player. You can only touch the ghost during a hunt now if the ghost is a banshee and you are not the target. But even with this change, it is super hard to make the ghost target another player. We tested this and you need to be at a super close distance to the ghost of at least 2 meters to make it change targets. It is different though, if the targeted player breaks line of sight, it will target the closest player to it. This is also based on distance though. If the other player is too far away from the ghost will still go to the last seen player location and go around the corner. Number 3. The ghost will now listen for player voices when hunting and will search those locations. This will not work if the ghost is a banshee and you are not the target. There is 4 things you need to know about this feature. First of all, the ghost can only hear you at pretty close proximity of about 8 meters. The ghosts can hear you through walls, but they cannot hear you across floors. If you are with people, the ghosts can only hear you if you are pressing local push to talk. If you are solo, the ghosts can always hear you. And lastly, you can only trigger them with a certain noise threshold. This means you can still whisper with your friends without the ghosts hearing you. Number 4. The ghost will now search around the location it last saw a player rather than searching a random location. This means as soon as the ghost saw you, he will stick around in that area for the rest of the hunt. This makes it super dangerous if you go into a room to hide in plain line of sight of the ghost. The ghost will very likely step into your room and get you. This is why you should never hide in a room on a small map. Always go for lockers and closets. On bigger maps, try to lose the ghost by just walking around. The same will happen, by the way, if the ghost hears you at a certain location. If he hears you, he will stick around in that area for the rest of the hunt. Number 5. The ghost will now open doors, closets and lockers during hunts. This can be stopped by holding the door, however, the ghost can still walk through room doors as usual. This means lockers are now completely safe as long as you hold the door. Closets are not 100% safe since there are 2 doors you need to hold. If the ghost opens the other door, just quickly close it and you are 100% safe. Holding doors to rooms is 100% pointless though. As previously mentioned, the ghost can randomly step into a room and check it out. If however you have no other option than to hide in a room without a locker or a closet, try to hide behind the door and hold it. If the door is opening up into a corner, you have even a higher chance to survive. Also worth mentioning is if the ghosts open doors during hunts, they will also leave fingerprints if it's a fingerprints ghost. Number 6. The thermometer was heavily nerfed in this patch. The thermometer now updates every 2 seconds instead of every 1 second. The temperatures in the house are now bound to the breaker being on or off. If the breaker is off, all temperatures in the house will drop to 5 degrees Celsius or 41 degrees Fahrenheit. If the breaker is on, all rooms will warm up except for the ghost's room. These are the thermometer ranges depending on the different rooms and if the breaker is on or off. If the breaker is off and you turn it on, it takes about 2 minutes till you can differentiate the ghost's room from other rooms. In professional difficulty, the breaker will start off and all the temperatures will be cold as well. So you should go for the breaker first and then wait about 2 minutes till you can differentiate the ghost's room. Freezing ghosts are still pretty easy to find. If you see a temperature below 3 degrees Celsius, you know it's a freezing ghost. And this can happen pretty fast. I had freezing ghosts that went below 3 degrees Celsius within 1 minute. Number 7. EMF readers will now give random values during hunts, similar to how the flashlight flashes during hunts. One important thing to remember, even if you see EMF 5 during a hunt with the EMF Reader, it is not necessarily an EMF 5 ghost. Number 8. On professional difficulty, you will no longer be told if the ghost responds to groups or only if you are alone. In case you didn't know, this only refers to the spirit box response, so if you want the spirit box response, only send one person into the ghost room. Number 9. Dead players will no longer count towards the average team sanity. Instead, alive players will now lose 15% sanity each time a player dies. So you have to be more careful during hunts with your teammates, otherwise your entire team sanity will get destroyed. Always look at the average team sanity that is now being shown in the truck. Most ghosts will start hunting at 50% average team sanity. So keep your sanity high by either standing in the light within the building, or take candles with you, or take sanity pills. And number 10, banshees will now hunt like all other ghosts and target any player when its target player is outside the house. So you can no longer cheese the game by letting the target player wait outside the house. Check out my other videos to learn more on how Phasmophobia works. Thank you guys for watching, and we see us in the next one. Oh, all these patrons! Thank you so much guys for your support. Mwah. Big schmouts.